I got my tea, got my reading glasses, because you know what? It's time to nerd out big time. We're going to talk about mastering. Oh, mastering. So exciting. I know. I live an exciting life. You know, there's some things that, I'm sorry, it gets me excited. I don't know if it gets you excited, but, well, I'm sure if you saw the title of this, you're going to be like, oh, this is kind of exciting. Okay, well, let's do it. Let's talk about this whole mastering thing. What is mastering? It is the final step in the audio production process where a finished mix is prepared for release. You're trying to send it out to the world, trying to get people freaking listen to it, listen to it more than 30 seconds. You know who I'm talking about. What you're doing is you're adding a final polish to the whole song or to a collection of songs, and you want to make it consistent and sound professional everywhere. When I'm saying consistent, I'm talking about you want it to sound relatively the same on whatever device you have. It could be your phone, it could be your laptop, it could be your TV with a big subwoofer. It has the extended bass sound to it. Or it could be studio speakers. That's where you're doing the mix down because you want to hear everything. But you also want to hear it on the other devices and things, because that's where people are going to listen to music. I mean, think about where most people listen to everything. If you send something to a friend and they get it through text or something like that, do you think they're going to go down and turn on the studio and go listen to it? No, hell no. They're going to listen to it on their crappy phone. It's just how it is. Hopefully they have an iPhone because they sound a little bit better, but some of the other ones, oh God, they're horrible. No bass in, no bass response or anything like that. Mastering. I think if you're an independent artist and you have a very limited budget, I would recommend mastering the songs yourself, especially before you release it, because you want it to sound as good as possible. Yes, if you have the budget and you're able to afford a mastering engineer, definitely go with them, because they will take it to the next level. They will have it consistent between songs. And if they're good, if they suck, they could destroy it, but hopefully they're good. You do your research on that. But yeah, I would say go with the mastering engineer if possible. Hopefully they don't squash the dynamics and make it just completely flat where you can just, the waveforms, it's just like a square instead of actually having dynamics within the sound. It can happen. But if you get the right person and they treat it as an art form, then yeah, I think they can make it sound way better than any person could do. But if you do mastering yourself, you're learning. You're figuring out things. You're learning the basics of compression, of limiting. EQ, hopefully you don't have to do that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. You also get to think of your song as the entire, it's like seeing the final process of it. You're thinking about your song as a whole, which is very important. You'll learn a whole lot from mastering yourself. And let's just say I've looked on other tutorials and stuff like that, and I've seen other people's mastering bus chain, and it's like plugin after plugin after plugin. I mean, some of these are like 10 plugins. I'm like, what are you doing? You got to think about every little step of the way. You could be screwing up your sound. No, keep it simple. Keep it really, really, really simple. So what I did is I tried to strip everything down to just the absolute basics of what I needed to get the song to sound good before sending out. Then I would call this like a quick master. It's not a full master in the sense that you're taking a whole bunch of time. You're just trying to get it release ready so it sounds good. In my opinion, I feel that I can get my stuff, let's just throw a number out there, 90% of the way. If you get a mastering engineer who knows what they're doing, they could take it all the way up to 95 to 100% and just make it sound awesome. Take it to the next level. So mastering engineers, super important. Give them money, because I've tried the AI tools. God, they suck. They're not good yet. They're not good yet. I do not recommend them right now, at least from what I've experienced so far. They just, all the choices are overhyped. EQ curves, just insane EQ curves, all this other kind of stuff. I mean, I've even tried the Ozone stuff, and their AI tools that are built into it. And it's way, way, way too much. Gosh, it's just like, who's making these decisions in the background? Calm it down. Settle down, AI. No, you don't have to make it sound like it tears your ears off, You want it to actually sound nice and mellow and smooth and good. Let's get to the tools I use. I use a bus compressor. The one that I use is an SSL, and you can go with any different version of that. Any type of bus compressor would work, and they're all different. I like SSL because the controls are simple, and it gives me exactly what I need. Then, on top of that, you need to get the sound volume up, so you want a limiter. I use Ozone for that. I've been using it for a long time. I'm just familiar. There's a lot of new ones that are out there that I love to try. Mastering Plan is one I've heard of that's all-in-one tool that looks pretty cool. There's some other ones that are out there. There's a whole lot of different options that are out there. If you have suggestions, and if there's anything I can learn from this, please put some information down in the comments. Let me know what your mastering chain is, and if you have found a simpler approach than what I'm doing for getting my songs mastered before I release. And like I said, we're learning here. It's a community, and I know just the basics. I don't know everything. At the same time, I think what I've learned, it definitely works for me, and it has made my songs sound way better. Okay, let's go over the most important mastering adjustments that you can make. First thing, volume. A lot of people forget about this. They just put everything into all the other units and everything, all the other effects and insert effects, and they forget to raise the volume at the very beginning. Well, let's get into that a little bit. Next thing, compression. We just talked about that. I prefer bus compression, SSL, and you can use the tools that are within your DAW, the ones that come with it, and they will do a really good job. Limiting is another thing. I found that the limiters that come with most DAWs are good, but a third-party one can be better. That's just so far what I've seen. That could be improved in the future. We'll see about that. Then you get to the next section, which would be encoding, which would be, do you want it AIFF? You want it WAV file, WAV? What format do you want? FLAC, all that kind of stuff. Then you want to export the track. And when you export it, you have to think about metadata. The most important thing beyond all that kind of stuff is you want to start with a good mix. If you go in there with a crappy mix that just levels are just all over the place and you expect mastering to fix it, it's not going to fix anything. It's just, it'll help a little bit, make it louder, but the mix is still going to be just going to amplify your bad mix. Sorry. First things first. Go back to your mix, fix it in the mix, make the mix sound good so that you hear the mix by itself. All you're trying to do is add just a little tiny bit extra, that extra 10% to take your song to the next level. That's all it is. You shouldn't have to go beyond that. Let's talk about volume. At the beginning, what I do is I raise the input volume in the beginning of the mastering chain so that the main output meters are just below peak in the loudest part of the song. What I'm saying by that is look at your meters. You'll see a peak meter. It'll be red at the top. And if you see that flashing the entire time, it's too loud. Turn it down. If you never see it flashing at all, turn it up. You'll see it in the meters. You want it, I'll probably show some graphics here, but you want it so everything is up towards the top, but you want a little bit of dynamics if possible. If that thing's pegging the meters the entire time, it's going to be a squash sound. It's going to look like a square. The waveform is just you'll see it, the tops are just chopped off. And those sound compressed and nasty, and there's no dynamics, and there's no feeling, there's no movement, no nothing. Boring. Don't do that, please. Leave some dynamics. You do have to get it loud enough. Chop off a little bit, but not too much. Just a little bit. Next thing, compression. What are you doing with compression? You are trying to glue the mix, and you're trying to even the levels so that everything is consistent. So let me go over some of my initial settings. These are ones that I start out with. You don't have to do any of these, but this is what I start off with. Ratio, 2:1, 4:1. Again, the key with this is being subtle. Just little tiny movements in there. Attack, 1 millisecond attack. Release. I'm lazy. I go auto. Just set it to auto. Let the compressor figure it out. You can set it, I know, manually if you want to, but that's just how I do it. And it sounds good. I like it. At least to me, it sounds good. What you do is you take the threshold. This is the important one. And you start at 0. So you're not doing any compression whatsoever. And then you slowly reduce the threshold, and you should have a little meter on there. Like it could be a meter goes up and down, or like a VU meter style thing. And you're looking for a very slight decibel reduction. And I would say between 1 to 4 dB is really all you need. You just want to see it kind of just move just a little bit. Just a touch, just a little bit. And that creates that glue that kind of gets the mix together. If you do it too much, you squash it too much, and you take out the dynamics on there. That's not how I like to do it. Like I said, all this is preference. I mean, who knows? I mean, someone might want to have something that's just destroyed, and that's the sound they're going for. Go for it. Do it. Go all the way. Be crazy. Just do whatever you feel like. So after compression, what's next? Like I said, I'm very simple with this. Limiting. You are applying limiting so the peaks are reduced to what I set it at is at the smallest amount, which would be negative 0.1 decibel. So you're seeing the meters on there, and you see the reduction meter. What I do is I use my ears at this point, and I set the level so that the overall volume is raised more so than it was before, but you also don't want the limiter to affect the sound of the mix. You don't want it to sound overly squashed, chopped, or anything like that. You just want it to be enhanced. But easiest way to do it is take it too far, you'll hear it, then you back it off. So it's like always go too far and then back it off. Same thing with the compressor. Go too far, then back it off. And you get to that sweet spot. And you're like, oh, it's sweet. I did it. It's awesome. Then you go back and you change other things, do a lot of back and forth stuff. It's just how it is. Then you monitor, yes, those main output meters. And when you're done, you look at the song's waveform. I use a program called Audacity, which is free, and it is very powerful. It's pretty awesome. It can do so much. We'll go over that. I'll do a whole separate section here that will talk about Audacity and how it looks and everything. Next thing is the encoding and exporting. So you do a certain file type, which would be WAV or AIFF, WAV, WAV or AIFF. Bit depth, a lot of distributors want it as 16-bit, sample rate 44.1. Typical CD quality is what you have it at. You can do 24-bit on there as well too, if it is accepted where you're trying to send your songs. I think DistroKid is 16-bit if I remember right. I'm not sure if they'll take 24-bit or not. Let me know in the comments. Also, if your recording is 24-bit, you want to apply dither. There's usually a little checkbox that says apply dither to the song. And then another important step that a lot of people forget about is you want to embed metadata. What is metadata? It's all that information in the background so that when your song comes up, it'll include things like artist name, title track, ISRC codes, could be website information, how to check your stuff out, all your other stuff out there. I do the embedded metadata as well too, because I think it's very important to have that information within the file itself. Wow, that's a lot of stuff there, isn't it? It's pretty crazy. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about our final thoughts on all this stuff. Final thoughts. You always start with a good mix. Don't even start mastering until that mix is good. Make it real good. Make it spicy. Then you're enhancing the mix so that it's not only louder, but it's also more even and punchy. You just, like I said, you want it to sound good to your ears and compare it to what you had before. Use simple tools. Like I said, the more basic you can have your tool set, the better I think the sound is. I've tried it before with complex, chains and things like that. I mean, you could do certain things, like you could add a tape emulator on there. I've seen that. It kind of makes sense. It's sort of, you're recreating what you see at a studio. Like, you got the studio with the board, you get your mix, then it goes to a bus compressor, a lot of times a SSL or something like that. And then it goes out to a limiter and then to a DAT is what they used to have a long time ago. But, nowadays it's all on the computer. It's all in the box. You do small, subtle adjustments. Don't go too crazy with this. If you go too crazy, you can hear it and you regret it later, Just like life, if you do things a little too crazy, you go, you wake up the next day, you're like, I shouldn't have done that. So yeah, watch yourself. Just do a little bit, do a little bit, dip your toes in there, see if it's any good. And last thing I will say is keep learning and growing each time that you make a master. The first time you do this, it's not going to be perfect. And you're going to go, I wish I did this. I wish I did that. You know what? You'll learn from that. And you go back the next time. And the next time you master your track, you do what you think you should have done. And you'll go out, you'll compare it to other people. You'll compare it to other masters and go, how did they do that? And I said, a lot of this, it's a lot easier than people think. It can be complicated. There's some people that are scientists that are out there that know everything about this, and they can probably make it awesome. And there's probably some hidden tricks that no one's going to tell you because that's how they make the cashola. They know certain things. This is my simple, hopefully easy approach to mastering. I hope it helps someone out there to release a track and try this on their own. Like I said, I'm learning about this too, so please leave a comment if there's anything that you think I could do myself that would be, beneficial, and also leave a comment in there for everyone else reading so they can learn from this as well too. We're all learning about all this together. The best way for me personally to learn something is to see it. I'm a very visual learner. So what I'm going to do today is show you one approach that I do for mastering a song, and we're going to do it within the DAW, and I'll explain why that is in a minute. Now, this song is called Glowing. It is a duo project that I'm involved with called the Aurelia Drift, and I'm extremely proud of the song. I think it turned out great. And by the time that this video is released, this song should be released as well too. So if you want to listen to the whole track, go to Bandcamp, YouTube, Amazon Music, Spotify, all the usual streaming places. Or actually, if you just go to AfterAudio.com, there'll be all the links all in one page for that. It'll be on the main page. Just go to AfterAudio.com for that. If you want to check it out and listen to it, see what the heck I'm doing and why I'm doing this stuff. Okay. Let's go through here. Let's see here. We have the master section of Reason. This is the song. And let's go through some of the settings here. You have your input gain. That's going to be at 0. Threshold's at 0 because we're starting at the very beginning. Ratio is 2:1. I'll probably keep it there. Attack in milliseconds is at 1 millisecond. And the release I set to auto. That's just how I do it. I like things to do it themselves. And then makeup gain is 0 on there for now. And we're going to slowly adjust these settings so that everything sounds full and punchy is what we're looking for compared to what we had before. So let's listen to the beginning of the song and look at the meters here. The key things to look for are the levels here at the top. It should get up around here. And then look for the peak where it clips. Here. So you see there's between -6 and -4. So we're going to take this off of bypass. Now the limiter is not engaged yet. And we're going to turn on the master bus compressor. Again, with the master bus compressor, I explained it before, but what it does is it kind of tightens the mix. It glues the mix together as a compressor. SSL is just, I don't know. To me, it sounds great. I love it. And like I said, I love the ability to sort of bring up certain sounds in the background, but then take down ones that are kind of a little too high. It just puts it all together in a nice little neat kind of sound. Let's go through and see what it sounds like unbypass, and then I'm going to start changing settings. The settings that I'm going to change, I'm going to leave attack and release the same ratio. I'm going to keep that. But the main two are going to be the makeup gain and then the threshold. The makeup gain, the reason why I like to do that is because you're compressing the sound, but then you want to raise it up. And at the same time, the makeup gain, I talked about it, where the volume, you want to have the volume up to a good level before the limiter sees it so that you're taking off the peaks. Now, I could do this on the input gain or makeup gain. I've tried them both, kind of about the same. So let's see here. Let's go through and listen, and let's adjust those settings. My eyes gaze into your... Now with the threshold, what I'm trying to do is get between 0 to 4 dB reduction. Again, subtle, small little just adjustments here that just change the sound a little bit. We're not trying to overly compress the sound. Now some people might want to do it for excitement and things like that, or you could take out dynamics, which could kind of make the song lifeless. We're not trying to do that at all. For me, I like dynamics. I like having a song that has peaks and valleys. To me, it's more emotional. It takes you on a journey, where other people, they squash the heck out of it, and it's just, I don't know. It's not my thing. And again, everyone has their own way of doing it. So let's listen to it here and adjust that threshold. I feel this in so many ways. I love to go slowly, take time to, with only you and me are here now holding. You see right there, it was below the 4, I would say probably about 2 dB of reduction. To me, that's perfect. Now next we're going to adjust the makeup gain and get that so it's loud enough, and look at the levels and then look at the peak lights, and we want it to just start peaking. It's fine to start peaking because we're going to have the limiter adjust it and pull it back down again. Again, we're trying to get it loud, get the punchiness, but we're not trying to take dynamics away completely. Walk to what's open, to look at all the little things. We sit down, then talk some, until we both started to think, let's take this back to your home where that is. You see it started to peak right there. And that's just at the verse. So that if we get to the chorus, it's going to be different. It's just you and me are here now loving. So now I'm going to turn it on. I've reduced the amount from between 0 to 4. For me, it was about -2. All the settings are good. The makeup gain looks good right there at 6.25. Now I'm going to adjust this threshold. And what I want to do is see this just light up a couple. I usually don't go above, say, 4 at the most, because it's not going to do it the entire time. You'll see it'll just kind of flash here and there. Typically between 2 and 3 would probably be a good way of doing it. Let's slowly pull it down during the bridge and the chorus, which are the loudest parts of the song. Take me into yours. Yeah, I feel everything. We keep feeling the room starts glowing. I think it was just fate. Now, I don't know if you heard that, but when I got up to about -3 on there, I started hearing a little distortion, a little crunchiness, and I don't like that. So I'm going to back it off now. I knew it right from the start that this would be true. You were the missing part. I felt this when you looked at me. I see this and how you hold my heart. When the room is glowing. So that was perfect. I got between -2 or 2 blocks right here. So just a little bit of limiting. I was getting between the 1 to 4 dB of reduction. The makeup gain went up a little bit. I think that would be my settings right there. So if you want to copy these settings, that's fine. Again, threshold here was like a negative, close to -12. The main ones would be ratio 2 to 1, attack 1 millisecond, release auto. And again, play with it. Try it out. Different songs need different settings. I try and keep a lot of these the same because I want my songs to be consistent, but do whatever you want. Just figure out your own sound of what you want your masters to sound like. And again, different mixes have different levels, so you're going to have to adjust things like the makeup gain or the input gain or the levels over here. And you want it to be consistent in the end. Hopefully this visual approach within the DAW worked for you. And again, the reason why I like to do it within the DAW is because everything is self-contained within the DAW, especially if it's a single. But if you're releasing it on like an EP or a full album, it's good to do it on a separate program where you can see the waveforms and you can make sure that your levels are consistent from song to song. I hope this helped explain this one approach. We will go through the Audacity approach next, which is a waveform editor. So this is the second approach, which is using a program like Audacity, which Audacity is free. You can just download it, and it's a great program. A lot of times before, you would have to use something like SoundForge. Wavelab is one that still is around now for being able to do the same thing. Like I said, this is free, and it has all the tools that I need personally, and I think it's great. So let's see here. I have the song. What I did is I exported it. I bypassed the master effects from before. And then, so now it's just, this is what I would send to a person that was mastering as well too. And again, this is a different approach. It's not within the DAW. It's being able to see it, everything happening on here too. And the cool part with Audacity, if you go to effects here, they have real-time effects, which you add here, or they have master effects. So it applies to all tracks. And what I'm doing is the same setup on here. I have the SSL Bus Compressor, which is right here. So let's get the settings the same. Threshold there, auto, ratio. It's still 2 to 1. Okay, so that's the same there. Then Ozone Maximizer. They have presets, so what I'll do is do gentle and smooth. That's right, I like to be gentle and smooth. That's just the kind of guy I am. Okay, so it starts you off at -3. So let's listen to it and see what's happening. And we're going to adjust the settings like I did before. But again, this is applying to all tracks if you had multiple tracks. And you could export the tracks as well on here too. I said this program is great for all this stuff. It's just, it works so well. So let's hit play here. And what's nice is you can see Ozone will show you how the peaks are being adjusted. And we're going to adjust the threshold to match that. Ceiling's at -0.1, which is just like we did before. Now we have a couple other settings in here too, soft clip, transient, all this other kind of stuff. You can change your modes, all this other stuff. So this is way more flexible. Again, this is good for EPs or albums or anything like that, and then you want to master it. Now again, we're looking here at the peaks. We're trying to see if this is getting reduced at all. Pull it over here. You can see a little better. We keep feeling low. Rules So you see there, it started peaking, and I want it, like I said, I want it to peak some, but just every now and then, not all the time. So I raised it up about plus 6 dB here within Ozone. Just turn the makeup gain off this time. And then threshold is at around 12 dB. Did the same thing for attack, 1 millisecond. Release was auto, 2-to-1 ratio on there. Yeah, it's very similar settings to what I had at Reason, and it's sounding pretty good. When I'm done with all this is I would take it and you would export it. So you do export audio. You would export to the computer. Now it would be, I'm just going to say, turn this to mastered now. Here's one thing is we're putting it to 16-bit 44.1 stereo WAV file, put it on the desktop, edit metadata. And the reason why this is important is that it has all your information in here. So, oh, actually I have this as a preset, as a template. Make it easy for yourself. There it is. So the real drift glowing. Album title, that's from the old one. Take that off. There's no album yet, but there will be one, trust me. Year 2025, indie, put AfterAudio.com. It has your information, so if someone has that file or anything like that, or you yourself need to look at it, you will have that information in there, and it's nice to have that on there. So we have the metadata, we have the song, we have the format, all that kind of stuff. Then we will export it. Okay, so let's go through and see what it looks like. Look at the difference there. Oh my goodness gracious. Isn't that just beautiful? Wow. That's so cool. Look at that. It's nice and full compared to before. But at the same time, yeah, it shaves off some of the peaks at the top, but it's not like all the way straight across where it's just, you see no dynamics whatsoever. Well, when I was playing this back before, I was playing the mastered version here, and I was like, man, this sounds distorted. Like, if you listen to it. It's glowing. And it was distorted because I did not turn off the master effects. So it was mastering the master. Just too much mastering going on. So yeah, don't over master things too much, because it can get a little hairy. Okay, let's turn off the master effects. Okay, that's much better. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare the unmastered to the mastered track and watch the meters here. Let's make sure I have this at 100, which, okay, I do now. So let's listen to solo this and look at the levels. You'll see them at like what, -9, -6, something like that. And then when it gets to the master version, it should be higher than that, usually up between -3 and 0. And listen to the difference between those two sounds.
Just fate. I knew it right from the start that this would be true. You were the missing part. I felt this when you looked at me. I see this and how you hold my heart. I know this when the room is low.
So hopefully you can see the comparison here and actually not hear a distorted sound, which is always much better if you're trying to explain mastering to people. And this is the approach for using Audacity to be able to drop in the unmastered sound. You take off, bypass all the mastered sounds, put it in here, and then you apply your effects in here. And the good part is you can apply master effects, which applies to all tracks. So you can use the same master effects to each track if you want to, or you could process them individually per track. It's a lot of flexibility. You can hear all the sounds all at one time. Eventually you can compare sounds and all that. So this is a more flexible approach using Audacity for mastering. And again, this thing's free. Just download it and just try it. It's awesome. They're always updating this as well too. They have built-in effects and stuff like that. Again, I use SSL Bus Compressor, Ozone Maximizer. You don't have to use those. You can use some, there's some free options that are out there that are pretty good, close to it. And see what's in your DAW. Logic has some great ones. Reason has some great ones in there that will do the same thing. And you could try and use those instead. Of course, there's a couple third-party ones that are out there that are pretty good too as well too. If you have anything that you would like to suggest as a community that would help other people, like your approach to mastering, just explain it down in the comments. Let people know. Like I said, we like to learn from each other here. And also, if there's anything anyone can suggest for how to simplify this even further, let me know. Like I said, I'm still learning all this stuff. I'm not a mastering engineer. I do it because I want to save money. Because I'm cheap. No, I'm not. I like to learn is the main thing. I'm learning the process. I'm learning what compression does to the entire mix. I'm learning what limiting does. We're all learning as we're doing all this kind of stuff. And if you do it yourself, you are in control of how the song sounds in the end. Like I said, some mastering engineers are plenty that do a great job. There could be a couple that screw up songs. Sorry, it's true. But there's some really good ones out there. Do your research on that stuff. Find the right people that you trust for your music. Me personally, I like learning about this, and to me, I get my sound 90% there, I would say, something like that, where it works and it sounds good in the mix. Hope you enjoyed this. I enjoy talking about this, at least my approach. And like I said, it's my way of doing it. So there's going to be plenty of people who do it other ways and learn from them as well too. And, if you like this approach, then share it. Let other people know about this. I'm just hoping I can help other people out that are doing the same thing as me, independent musicians, just doing it on their own. It's tough, but hey, it's rewarding. You figure out things yourself and you're in total control. I like that. Okay, you all take care. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for listening to me yap about mastering, and hopefully we all learned something together today. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Wonderful weekend, wonderful life, all that kind of stuff. See you. Bye.